got it. Okay, you got it.
All right, move up. Okay. Come on in, Robbie. Scooch up here.
All righty. Good morning, and thank you for being here, and thank you to the team at the University of California, Davis, for hosting us. This is the largest solar power plant on any university campus anywhere in the nation. In fact, this is 16 megawatts here. It represents 14% of the power that's generated for the University of California at Davis. It's a fitting background for today's event because today we announce an important next step in California's climate leadership. Senate Bill 100 puts California on the path to 100% clean energy, renewable energy by 2045. It's the most ambitious target in the world, especially for an economy that dwarfs all but a handful of nations. But our experience so far offers hard evidence that we can dramatically expand clean energy while also growing our economy and putting people to work. In fact, clean energy is an extraordinary economic success story in California. Solar, wind, and we sure have a lot of wind here today, energy efficiency, and other clean energy power sources now collectively employ over 500,000 Californians. In fact, there are nearly 10 times more clean energy jobs in California alone than there are coal mining jobs in the entire nation. And the industry is growing, adding jobs faster than almost any other sector. This explosive growth is spurred by California's ambitious climate policies. Californians should be proud, very proud of our progress. Clean energy today, my friends, is a pillar of our economy, and it is here to stay. But the industry is not just creating any old jobs. It's creating jobs to support the middle class families. And it's doing so in some of our most impoverished areas, communities throughout California. It's creating real opportunities for Californians of every background and socioeconomic status, Democratic and Republican alike. Californians also spend less on their utility bills than residents of all but 3 states. SB 100 accelerates our transition to 100% fossil fuel-free electricity. It speeds up my 50% mandate from clean energy from 2030 to 2026 and establishes a benchmark of 60% by the year 2030. It will help us capture uncontrolled methane emissions from dairies, from landfills, and wastewater treatment plants to replace natural gas from fracking. And it authorizes our investor-owned utilities to invest in cleaner transportation fuels like hydrogen or waste methane gas to replace dirty diesel fuels. Make no mistake, this is a landmark proposal. But it's also a measured approach that ensures we have a flexible and reliable grid. This is about the future. It's not about the past. This is about jobs, real jobs. This is about growing a middle class for California and for the entire nation. Buenos días a todos. Desde este planeta de energía solar y la Universidad de California, iniciamos el próximo capítulo en la generación de energías renovables y la creación de más y mejores empleos. Hoy día anunciamos la propuesta SB 100, la cual genera 100% de su electricidad de fuentes de energías limpias y renovables para el año 2045. California es sinónimo con la innovación mundial y ahora es hora de superar nuestras metas. Hace 2 años, la legislatura aprobó mi propuesta SB 350, que estableció normas de 50% de energías limpias para el año 2030. Hoy, esta ley y otras más han hecho de California uno de los estados del mundo con la generación de energías más limpias mientras reducimos los cobros de energías de la población y creamos miles de nuevos empleos bien pagados. Estamos con conciencia e intención, creando empleos por medio de nuestras políticas públicas. Sabemos muy bien que el futuro lo estamos construyendo aquí en California, cada minuto para nuestras familias y que para nuestras familias respiren aire puro, para que nuestros niños tengan pulmones saludables y para que nuestra economía siga siendo a nivel mundial una de las más potencias económicas más fuertes del planeta. With that, it is my honor and my pleasure to bring to the podium the senator from the Central Coast, south of us in Santa Barbara County, that's Senator Hannibal Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator De Leon, for your leadership and your vision. You know, we are here amidst all of the wonderful resources that nature provides that will allow us to move forward through innovation and technology to harness what nature gives us for free, to harness the wind and the sun, and to create an energy future that will rely upon what we have to provide cleaner, greener, and more efficient energy for all of us. The fact that we are now seeking a 100% goal really shouldn't be a surprise. The technology is there. We just need the will. And I'm reminded of what happened many years ago. Some of you here might remember back in the 60s when President John F. Kennedy announced that we were going to put a man in space in the next decade, and people thought he was crazy. And yet we did that, and we landed a man on the moon in less than a decade. If we can do that, we can do this. And so I stand proudly with my colleagues, with Senator De Leon, with members of the labor community who recognize that this is a great opportunity to create good paying jobs in a cleaner environment and to assure that we are not going to go back to drilling for oil, a dirty, destructive, and a very, very negative process that will further destroy a planet that nature is telling us we can save through the innovation that we are creating and have created. So I say to those who want to take us back, we are not going to allow drilling off our shores. We have been there, we have done that. This isn't the 60s, it isn't the 70s, it isn't the 80s. It's 2017, and going forward, we are going to commit to a leaner, greener, and cleaner environment and world ahead. California, we lead the way yet again, and thank you, Senator De Leon, for taking that lead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Hannibal Jackson. Next with us, we'll bring the Majority Leader of the California State Senate, that's Senator Bill Monning. Senator Bill Monning.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. Thank you all for being here today. This backdrop is appropriate. The #1 investment in California today in venture capital is in renewable energy. The greatest job growth in this state and this nation is in renewable energy. And not only do we set an ambitious target today, we continue to set a model for other states and other nations who join in unity to try to save our planet from the threat of climate change. We need to set goals that go beyond our terms in office, that look to future generations and look to the planet that we're going to hand off to our children and our grandchildren. This is the future. It makes sense for our climate, it makes sense for our economy, and in my district, we have the decommissioning of a nuclear facility in San Luis Obispo County because of the confidence of PG&E that they can replace that with renewable energy resources. Also in my district, in the Carrizo Plain, 2,000-acre solar panel fields providing energy to our energy grid in California. So California is the future. California will continue to be the model for other states, other nations, and for the saving of our planet Earth. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much, Senator Bill Monning. Next up, we have the Senator from San Francisco, that is Senator Scott Wiener. Scott Wiener.
Thank you, Senator De Leon, and thank you for your continued leadership in helping us to push the progressive, forward-looking envelope in California. I think one of the real themes of the last 6 months has been that when, as the federal government, whether it's around immigration or healthcare or energy, tries to go backwards and to tear down the progress we made, that we in the legislature, and particularly in the Senate, we move forward and we embrace and re-embrace our California values, which really are American values. And absolutely, energy is such a key part of that. And what we are doing today, what our pro tem is doing today, is a huge step forward in sending a clear signal to the entire country that we're not going to go back on energy, and we're going to get even more aggressive in terms of our clean and renewable energy future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Senator Scott Wiener. It's like a jiu-jitsu move, right? They go back, we go forward, you know, with that. Next, we have from down south, Ventura, as well as Los Angeles County, south of Hannah Beth Jackson. Let's give it up for Senator Henry Stern. Senator Henry Stern.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem, for being unfailingly bold in your vision. I'm proud to stand today with labor and my colleagues here in the clean energy industry that truly is the jobs engine, not just of this state, but I think of this entire nation. I did want to say there's very little I can add to what my colleagues have pointed out, but if we do not push the market and push capital into clean energy jobs, that capital will go somewhere. And if that capital is going to be going to a fossil fuel-fired future, it's going to put all of California and this whole planet at risk. But it's not just a planetary emergency. In my district, Porter Ranch, we had the largest methane leak in U.S. history. And so we know that doubling down on a fracked gas or a fossil fuel-based energy infrastructure actually has more risk than pursuing this 100% clean energy path. We can get capital moving in benevolent ways that embrace job growth, that's sustainable, and that protects ratepayers. And that's what I see here today in this SB 100 proposal. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. It gives comfort to the people in Porter Ranch and the San Fernando Valley who are wondering what's going to happen in the future. And I think you see here today the Pro Tem is looking well beyond into the distance. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator Henry Stern. Next up, a gentleman who we were just together just a few days ago in New York City at the Bloom Energy Conference on climate. Let's bring it up for the President and CEO of SunPower, Mr. Tom Werner. Tom Werner. Tom.
Okay, I get to be part of this delegation, which is unbelievably phenomenal. I've been running SunPower since 2003. When I started at SunPower, there were 2 gigawatts in the world of solar energy. We've installed 10 gigawatts since that time in California, and that's because of the leadership that's behind me. This all started back, Senator De Leon, back in 2012 with Prop 39, which remember is energy efficiency and solar upgrades for schools. Then it was SB 535, which required CARB to spend 25% for low-income schools. And then it was SB 350, which we're upping the ante today, which is rather phenomenal. And then, of course, he was with the governor in Paris as part of the California, leading the California delegation for COP21, where 195 nations signed on to a climate change initiative. Now, this is about jobs. Think about the statistics here. First of all, SunPower was founded out of Stanford University. When I started in 2003, we had 35 people. Today, we employ several thousand people in California and 8,000 people worldwide. We're a multinational company. I can tell you the world is watching. 100% renewables is about jobs. Several hundred people worked, the gentleman behind me worked on this facility. There are many like this throughout California. Think about this. 1 out of every 50 new jobs in America were solar jobs. 17 times the rate of the next fastest growing industry. This is 100,000 jobs in California alone. Here at Davis, this is 16 megawatts behind me, another 4 megawatts on their buildings. It's very cool, leading edge university, showing that not only can you commit to renewable energy, but it's economic. We are now cost competitive with conventional energy. So this makes economic sense for the customer, and it makes economic sense because it employs people. We have an office just around the corner where we designed some of the equipment that's used on this site. They made robots that clean these solar panels. Let me end with it, 100% renewables, the whole world's watching. And it's challenging. It's challenging because we have great sun and we have great wind, but later today we may not. And of course, the sun won't be out tonight. So how do you harness that energy? So you need storage, you need DG, you need transmission. Those are challenges, but those are opportunities, and those opportunities are going to create jobs. And it's this leadership team led by Senator De Leon that will make sure we bring those jobs to California and we lead the world. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Tom. Next, we can actually use some wind turbines right now. Let's bring it up. Danielle Osborne Mills, who's the director for California for the American Wind Energy Association. Danielle.
Senator De Leon, thank you for your leadership and for your vision in climate change. It's an honor to be here today. Just last month, it was reported that global atmospheric carbon levels are at an all-time high over millions of years, for the first time in millions of years. The climate is changing faster than we expected, and while many are bracing for the future, we have to remember that we have solutions. The wind is blowing, the sun is shining. We are here today in strong support for SB 100, which represents a necessary step toward decarbonizing California's economy. California has made great progress already toward our greenhouse gas reduction goals, particularly in the electricity sector, but we can aim higher and act faster. The wind industry stands ready to help by creating jobs and producing affordable, clean, and reliable renewable energy for Californians. Wind energy is a no-regrets alternative to fossil fuels. This bill is not just about a long-term vision, it's about short-term action, near-term action. We cannot afford to delay. SB 100 will continue to grow the economy, improve environmental quality for all Californians, and create resilience in the face of uncertainty. Thank you.
Next, we have the executive director of the California Wind Energy Association. That is Ms. Nancy Rader. Ms. Nancy Rader. Hi, Nancy.
Thrilled to be here today. Many of us were here in 2002 when we passed the first RPS bill, a 20% RPS bill. And times have changed. That bill passed by only one vote, as I recall. Times have changed.
Times have changed.
It was daunting. We thought it was going to be a daunting challenge, but soon we upped that number to 33%. And now we've already blown past that. And that's one of the reasons we're really excited about this bill, is it's going to stimulate near-term market demand, because in addition to the targets that Senator De Leon laid out, the bill will also move the 2023 target up to 45%. And so that's going to create more near-term demand, which is exciting for us, especially because a lot of the very first wind projects in California, Tehachapi and Palm Springs areas, those projects need to be repowered and revitalized. And this bill will help incentivize that at a time that we've got federal tax credits on the table, but unfortunately phasing out. So it's important that we collect those federal benefits now and repower our early generation wind projects soon. So thank you very much, Senator De Leon. We're thrilled about your bill.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much.
And they said we couldn't get to 20.
Okay, we have three more individuals. Next, we have a man who's dedicated his life working for the working class in the great state of California. He's an immigrant, from Northern Ireland, from Belfast specifically. He's come across the Atlantic Ocean and fighting for working men and women, regardless of who you are and where you come from, whether you're from the Central Valley, the Bay Area, or Los Angeles. Let's get up for the president of the building trades, the state building trades of California. That is Mr. Robbie Hunter. Robbie.
In 2015, we worked with Senator Pro Tem Kevin De Leon on SB 350. There was many that had doubts, 50% renewables. We never had any doubts. We'd already been involved. We represent 450,000 construction workers in California, 64,000 apprentices that come out of high schools and are trained as electricians, operating engineers, carpenters, all of the trades. These renewable energy jobs are real jobs. They have skilled apprenticeship. They pay good middle-class wages. We are building projects from the Nevada border to the Mexican border. People really don't see them because they're in the middle of nowhere. We have tens of thousands of construction workers every day working on these projects. We have built 17,000 megawatts here in California. San Onofre is 2,200 megawatts. That's 5 new nuclear power plants, renewable energy, all built driving good wages under good conditions in an energy in a market and a sector of construction that is growing faster than anything else in California. We support SB 100. Kevin De Leon and the leadership of the California legislator, this governor, this is a state to be living in. They look at the problems, they find the answer, and they make things happen. And we deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Next, we have the president of Large Scale Solar Association, First Solar, Mr. Jim Woodruff. Mr. Jim Woodruff. Jim.
Thank you, Senator. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to join my clean energy colleagues to support SB 100, and it is truly an honor to share the microphone this morning with Senator De Leon and other leaders. Senator De Leon is a great leader for our state and for our time. You know, some of my colleagues have talked about history. 15 years ago, California embarked on an adventure called the Renewable Portfolio Standard. It was 20% by 2017. And there were a lot of folks that said, you know, we can't do that. It's 2017. Today, we have 10,000 megawatts of large-scale solar on the grid. We have invested billions of dollars of capital in the state. As my colleague Tom Werner said, we've created 100,000 family wage jobs in this state. So it's been a tremendous success story, and we are well on our way to 33% by 2020, well on our way to 50% by 2030. Today we're focused on the future, and again, I think there are going to be folks that say we can't do this. I'm here to say that we can do this. This state has the solar resource, the wind resource, has the skilled labor, the infrastructure, has the spirit of innovation, and it has the intelligence to make this happen. What is really needed to move this forward is leadership and vision. Senator De Leon and the other leaders here today are putting forth that vision and providing that leadership. Our industry is here to make that vision a reality, Senator. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone ever tell you look like Charleston Heston?
Most interesting man.
The Ten Commandments. Oh, the most interesting man in the world. There you go. The most interesting man in the world. Let it be known, the most interesting man in the world is here today, you know. Last but not least, we have the Executive Director for Energy and Sustainability for the University of California at Davis. I want to thank her very much for allowing us to host us here today. This wonderful press conference, this solar array that they have here for the University of California. That's Amy Myers Jaffe. Amy Myers.
I can't tell you what a great honor and beaming success it is to be standing here in front of you today with Senator Leon and these other leaders from our legislature and from our industry telling you that we can achieve 100% renewables in California. It's a realistic goal. We have made incredible strides, as everybody has discussed. We had a setback in the last 2 years with the use of natural gas in the state of California, and industry stepped in with very innovative projects for battery storage combined with renewables. We have corporations all across the United States that have made pledges to go 100% renewable. Big companies, not just our tech companies like Google and Apple, but middle class companies that employ lots of people around the middle class service providers, companies that provide goods for everyone in America, such as Walmart and Starbucks. So we are leading this in California. We need to stay the course because we have great industry here that's providing jobs. The University of California stands together with the state. We have pledged that we will get by 2025 to carbon neutrality on our 10 campuses, 5 medical centers, and 3 national labs. I take great pride to come to the office in Davis, California, here on our Davis campus at our West Village, which is a 100% net zero energy community that generates its own electricity with the kind of resources you're seeing here today. And I can tell you, every day I come into my office, the electricity works, everything works, and when you have a blackout in other parts of the state, doesn't affect us. So just saying, this is really a great and bright future. We have a lot of opportunity here to come up with a grid that's more stable, more reliable, powered by software, optimized by software. And what I like about today's event is we have the leadership here in California to signal industry and to signal the financial community that there is a location where you can be profitable and move your business forward and show a light for the rest of the world that they also can invest in these technologies, many of which are created here at the University of California, here in California, and here for the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
Very well said, Amy. Thank you so very much. So we will open it to questions that you may have, myself, of Tom, Robbie, Jim, the Senator Stern, Mr. Weiner, Mr. Monning, Ms. Hannah-Beth Jackson, the folks from Wind, Solar as well.
Senator,
Questions?
How important is this bill to help the state meet its 2030 emission reduction target? If we don't do this, is it going to be harder to hit that goal? Is this necessary to hit that goal?
I think it's all complementary. I think that we are on our way if we stay diligent to meet our 2030 goals. Obviously, we have some blowback from the East Coast, from Washington specifically. But I think it's very important that we send a signal to the rest of the world that California is very serious when it comes to creating jobs and putting people to work and creating good middle-class paying jobs, and at the same time reducing our carbon footprint. So this is complementary. It works hand in hand, obviously, with cap and trade. But when you got cap and trade, and we discussed that a little bit yesterday, when you talk about the whole portfolio of measurable policies that have actually reduced carbon and other criteria pollutants, a lot of this is through Senate Bill SB 350, through 535, through putting more electric vehicles on our roads, that has had the largest impact with regards to carbon reduction and furthering us towards our goals for 2030.
Talk about clean energy. What are you talking about? Are you talking about taking fossil fuels and nuclear power off the grid? Is there anything else in that bucket that you're looking to take off?
Well, when it comes to the RPS, back in 2015, with Senate Bill 350 specifically, we did not allow nuclear to be part of the renewable portfolio standard. It was some of the factors as to why, in this case, Senator Bill Monning with Diablo Canyon shut down. Pacific Gas and Electric obviously owns Diablo Canyon. It just wasn't profitable. Didn't make good economic sense for them. It was an economic decision they made because obviously we won't credit that as our renewable portfolio standard. Specifically here, we're channeling the power of the wind, obviously because it's free, as well as the sun, geothermal as well, and also allowing investor-owned utilities to capture uncontrolled methane from dairies, from landfills, from wastewater treatment facilities. This is uncontrolled methane that, dissipates into the atmosphere, which further, erodes the ozone and actually accelerates, extreme weather patterns with regards to climate change. So we're allowing through Senate Bill 100 investor-owned utilities to capture this uncontrolled methane and use it as renewable energy, which is different from extraction, for example, of natural gas and fracking. So We believe it's going to create more jobs because otherwise, when it comes to the landfills, when it comes to wastewater treatment facilities, when it comes to dairies, that methane is going straight up and it's not being captured.
So one other follow-up question on that. So obviously methane would now be considered renewable fuel. Would hydro be considered renewable?
Yeah.
And also, so that, and what would happen to natural
But
gas?
with regards to hydro specifically, let me be very clear about hydro. We're talking about, nothing that's prospective with regards to investor-owned utilities. So there's no new creation of hydro, plants in California. We will factor in what's already on the sheets, on the ledger sheets right now, what's been paid for, but nothing that's prospective.
So what would happen to the natural gas industry in California? Obviously, we have a lot of natural gas plants. That's not a renewable fuel. Will we see ourselves shut those down by 2045?
Well, we're engaging still too. I don't want to speak too much about the natural gas part. We're engaging with the natural gas industry as well too. But we want to make sure that when we phase down, which is renewable, which is healthy for our planet. So we'll be engaging still with the natural gas folks. That's pretty much what I'm going to say about that part right there.
But I mean, in the bill as it's written now, natural gas is not considered. It's not part of the RPS.
It's not part of the RPS. Well, remember, the end goal is 2045, so we have plenty of time to work that out as we phase out, in this case, natural gas. Say that one more time. Set forth in 350? Yeah. Well, it was by 2025 to get 33%. We're in 2017 right now. We will easily surpass, by the year 2020, we'll easily surpass 33%. Part of, I remember when I had a press eval, if you will, I believe Chris was there at that time. One of the statements I made was that perhaps I made a mistake when it came to Senate Bill 350, because I like what Senator Hannibal Jackson said a few moments ago with regards to John F. Kennedy when he talked about putting a man on the moon. I think we could have shot for the stars in this case, because easily the investor-owned utilities in California will easily hit 50% by 2025 without breaking a sweat. So as we accelerate our goals, as we accelerate technologies, as we reach further and push further, I believe that we can hit 100% by 2045. The important part here is how we catalyze and how we innovate in California when we push. So we're not holding the markets back. In fact, let me be very clear. We're pushing the markets forward in a very aggressive fashion. The objective is right now to lower utility rates, lower the utility bills, which counts at the end of the day between your utility rate and your utility bill. We want to lower that even further and create jobs for everyday Californians. All right, then.
Using the terms renewable energy and clean energy, are those the same thing to everyone here on the panel?
Yes. They wouldn't be standing here if they weren't, okay? Everyone has a different industry here, and everyone has a different industry here, but we can cross that finish line, that goal line, together. We're in the beginning stages of Senate Bill 100. We're going to be engaging with many of the stakeholders, across the board on this issue. We're looking forward, but we believe we have a very strong foundational measure from which to build on, so we can get this across the finish line, so we can spur jobs. Let me emphasize one thing real clearly. You heard a theme here among labor, among large-scale utility solar, among wind, among policy makers here in an academic setting here at University of California, Santa Barbara. You've heard from the senators here. This is about creating jobs. This is about putting people to work. This is not about empty promises and slogans. This is about putting real people to work. And it doesn't make a difference if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. If you live in the Central Valley, if you live in the Inland Empire, in the Bay Area, on the coast, or Los Angeles. This is about really accelerating the process for the middle class in California and putting people to work. This is about the future. It's not about the past. And public health too. Yeah.
For Robbie. There are some environmental advocates who believe that
I just want to
to
talk
a
about
100% renewable energy target, you need to have a regional electricity grid. That's something that Labor's been skeptical of as far as the idea of having jobs out of state building renewable energy generation. How do you feel about the renewable energy, having a regional grid? Do you feel like that is critical to hit this goal?
Well, I think a regional grid is doable. It's just got to be the circumstances. Do you really want a state with a population of 15 million controlling the utilities of a state that has 40 million people? So I'm sure the details can get worked out in that between the states. We live here in California. Our members have to pay utility bills, and we want it to be fair. We don't want California taxpayers carrying the bulk of costs for other states. But, you know, while I'm up here, I want to tell you what renewable jobs really look like. In Fresno, it has the highest unemployment. Tulare County, Merced has the highest unemployment in the state. And it's really tough for kids coming out of high school there. Recently we had a couple of solar projects, and we had one of the trades that had 10% of the work. They hired 250 apprentices to work on the solar projects just a few months ago. 106 of those kids didn't have high school diplomas. We got them their GEDs, and they're in our apprenticeship program with medical coverage, earning decent wages, working their way towards journeyman. That's typical of what's going on around the state of California as far as these renewable jobs go.
So a regional grid is something you're open to?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
What would you want to see in that to make sure that you address your...
Well, I think those questions are better for the people behind me. They look at the bigger picture of taxpayers in the state of California, of ratepayers, and to make sure that going into the future that California gets a fair shake in any regional deal. So,
let me, Chris. If done right, it can be quite extraordinary for California, but it has to be done correctly. And what I mean by that specifically is we need to make sure that we don't lose our sovereignty as a state. As Robbie just mentioned right now, we're a state of 40 million. We're a creative, innovative state. We're the 6th largest economy in the world. We want to make sure that we as a state don't lose our sovereignty to other smaller states. We may have like-minded objectives and goals, and I think the promise to integrate and regionalize the grid is incredible. But we have to be smart about this. We have to make sure that we get through the governance issues. We have to make sure that we don't import import dirty electrons from other states. We need to make sure that, you know, other states are like-minded, like California, when it comes to our climate leadership. Last thing we want to do is undermine our climate leadership in this great state like California. And we have to deal with the issue of jobs. Ultimately, we have to deal with jobs. We need to make sure that we create jobs. I'm about creating jobs in Utah and in Nevada and in Oregon, in Wyoming. I'm good with that. But we need to make sure we don't lose any jobs. In fact, that we grow our jobs here in California too. It's absolutely critical. It's about California and California jobs. And then lastly too, for the utility ratepayer, we need to make sure that the promises actually come to fruition, and we actually reduce our utility bills even further so. So it becomes a win-win-win situation. So we have to check off those boxes first and foremost before we get enthralled or fall in love with the concept of regionalizing, you know, the grid for the western part of the United States. I think it's really critical. We saw what happened and what can happen with the deregulation of the energy markets when you had out-of-state energy speculators from Texas and elsewhere just fleeced California taxpayers. And we saw the largest transference of wealth in the history of the state of California to other parts of the country because of the energy speculation. We don't want to do that. Our job, our duty, our responsibility, our fiduciary responsibility is to protect the taxpayers of California and make sure we grow jobs. If we can accomplish those check boxes, then we're at the table to discuss and negotiate. Okay. Other than that, if you want any individual interviews with folks here, you know, and our UA folks here too with our hard hats. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here with us today. Everyone's available. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.